Welcome back, you beautiful people, to the Real Collective podcast. As always, I am your host, Sean Tasse, joined with esteemed guest, friend of the show, and team member, Ali Ayyash. Ali, thanks very much for jumping on the call with me today. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think it'll be a really neat opportunity for us to showcase you and to, introduce yourself to the wider audience. And I mean, you're I wouldn't say you're brand new in the business, but you're relatively new, within your first year. So it's a really neat opportunity to have a conversation about what it's like getting into real estate, what it means for you, what have been your challenges over the next little while. So we'll jump into all of that. As always, if you guys are liking what you are hearing, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all of the different real estate videos before we post them on MLS, and share this with somebody who you think might be interested in content just like this. If you're listening on Apple Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thanks very much. If you're watching us on YouTube, feel free to comment down in the comments, ask a follow-up question, whatever it is you want. Or if you want to schedule an appointment with either of us, you can do that in the Calendly links below. You can book an appointment right into our calendars to talk about your real estate needs. So, Ali, we've been working together for how long has it been now? Has it been 4 or 5?
Yeah, 4 or 5 months. I started in April,
Yeah.
just the start of April, and then I kind of got more comfortable with the team and started working in May. Yeah, April was kind of like the training and getting used to everything, getting
Yes.
used to the office, getting used to the people here. And then May is where it started to pick up, and I started actually going out and working.
Yes. Yeah. I slowed you down. You wanted to get out and work right away. I'm like, no, we've got to learn how to do it properly first. Yeah. And so, yeah, you've had a very successful start to your career so far. Obviously, the main indicator of success in any real estate career is the number of transactions. I think what's more important, and something that I wish there was a metric to track, was client satisfaction. Maybe we'll do a survey. I think that's what we'll do.
Good idea.
And I think that that's more important than number of transactions, because if you've got a whole bunch of or even a very few clients who are absolutely in love with everything that you're doing, but you maybe have less transactions, I think that's actually more beneficial for you long term in your career. However, you have had a really great start, and you are the type of person who delivers exceptional service to clients. You're smart, you're intelligent, you're a perfect fit for the team. Everyone who I've had follow-up conversations with about you have all given you glowing reviews, and your clients have loved the service that you provided them. So yeah, 2 thumbs up for Ali, of course. And young, hungry, willing, smart. All of these things are adjectives that clearly describe you. So what have you found early on in your career? What have you found your real estate career to look like, and what challenges have you had to overcome? We'll start there, and we'll keep going. I'll let you go.
All right, so obviously, as everybody knows, starting a real estate career is extremely difficult. And I knew that going in. I didn't know that it was going to be as difficult as it actually is. Going in, I thought it was just going to be, going there, showing people houses, and then people end up buying the houses. But it's really not that. Client acquisition is a huge part of the job. And like you said, having satisfied clients is more important than just having a higher number of sales. But I really think having more satisfied clients contributes to having a larger number of sales. So it's really important to focus on servicing the clients that you have, and making sure that they're satisfied and they're happy where they are, and not just focusing on closing deals. And I think that's really something that's very important to take care of when you're starting a business in real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you had some challenges that you've had to overcome?
Well, it's just, getting used to the process of buying and selling, we're here to help people through the process and guide them. But it's even more difficult to do that when, you're trying to get used to it yourself. So, a lot of times I'd be dealing with situations that I've never dealt before. And that's where having a team like the Real Collective, they're there for me anytime I need them. So for example, you or our admins or any other person on the team, every time I need help, you guys are there to help me when I need it. So that's something very important. Starting up solo, which I did try, was very difficult because I didn't have the guidance that I needed.
Mm. And you didn't have the guidance, but you did have the drive, the determination, the will, the willingness to go and to do the work. And that hasn't changed. That's one thing I've noticed about you for sure. And how do you find that has benefited you so far? I mean, even like you said, it's not easy. It's not easy starting a career in real estate. And even for a guy like you who's, smart and willing to push and super driven, it's still not easy. So how have you found your desire to be successful has benefited you so far?
I really think the only reason I've been able to succeed is because of being driven and being, going out there and putting in the work. I think it's pretty much impossible to have any sales or to have any clients if you're a lazy person. It's definitely not the job for somebody who's lazy and just wants to sit back and depend on other people. It's kind of makes it's very easy to get distracted when you're in real estate because you don't have somebody pushing you to do the job. You're your own boss. It's your business and they're your clients. So you don't have a manager telling you what to do. You don't have a company that has any standards or goal expectations. It's all on you. So if you're not driven and if you're not hardworking, it's very hard to succeed in real estate.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I would tend to agree. We do have standards, just to be clear.
Yeah.
But they're more about client
Performance
service.
standards. Yeah, no,
Right.
not performance. Yeah.
I, all of the performance standards that we do have are the ones that you set for yourself, right? The accountability is all sort of self-governed, more so than governed by a man, like a team manager or anything like that. So yeah, you're right. Is it could be really easy to fall into the trap of, hey, I've got all this time, and and do whatever I want with it, right? Of course, the whole idea of building this out and doing it in this way, it allows you to sort of, take the reins, or the agent to take the reins and say, here's what I want to do with my day. And you can choose to be successful or you can choose to not, right? And then when you do that, then you get all the rewards of your hard work, right? And you get all the detriments of your not hard work. So
Yeah, I really like how there's no cap to your income as a real estate agent. The harder you work, the more money you make, which is pretty much you don't get that anywhere else. You just have a normal salary and that's how much you're gonna get paid, whether you're hardworking or not. But with a sales job, and especially real estate, you can go and make as much money as you want.
yeah,
It's a matter of how much work you're willing to put in.
yeah, absolutely. And when you were going through before you got your license, you had to go through like a training, or do a bunch of real estate courses. How long did that take you to get into it?
So they have a maximum of 2 years to finish the program. It took me about 1 year. One of the reasons for that is because I went overseas for 2 months back home, so I wasn't studying there. And also the exams take a long time to get booked. So you'd finish the course and wait for your exam, maybe 2, 3 weeks to even start writing the exam. So that's why it took me longer than it should. But I really think just the studying part, and if I really focused more on it, you can probably finish it in 6 months.
I remember when I did my licensing course as an exam, it took me 9 months. So I was working full time and then I was studying sort of in the evenings and weekends. So
Yeah,
it's
that's exactly what I did too. I was working full time when I was doing my exams. I finished university. I did chemistry at Carleton, and then I started working as a FedEx driver. And I really liked that job because it was good paying, and I could go study after work. And I was also learning the city. So I
yeah.
was delivering packages all over the city, learning the roads, learning the types of houses out there, and it really helped me. Now, when I see a name of a road, I already know exactly where it is and what it looks like.
Oh, that's a bonus. I didn't have that knowledge coming into it. That's for sure. That's really cool. And yeah, so it took that long. When you were doing the courses, was there anything that was really helpful for you in ensuring that you could pass the courses, or were there any like, oh, this one was really hard? Like, what did you find when you were going through and working on those courses?
I really found most of the courses were relatively easy compared to, what I've done before that, which is university. Going out of that and going into these courses, they're not hard because they're giving you everything you need to know in the courses. So if you read them, you're gonna know the answers to the exam. If you don't read them, you're not gonna get the answers on the exam.
Right.
So it's just like working, right? If you put in the work, you're gonna succeed. If you go and you do your homework and you read all the material, you're going to be able to succeed on the exam. And there was also this service that's called the Pass It, which was really helpful for me. Mock exam, basically, you go and you run the exam, and most of the questions were very similar to the actual exam.
I found the same thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Was it there when you were doing your real estate license?
yeah,
Really?
back
Yeah.
when the dinosaurs roam the earth. Yeah, I used Pass It, and recently, I guess during COVID, it would have been, I guess, 2021 or so. I did my broker's exam, and they had Pass It for that as well, and it was also super helpful. But even going all the way back to when I first 10 years ago, when I first did my like intro exams, like the ones that you're talking about, it was a bit of a different setup, but it was very similar, and the pass it was still super helpful. So yeah, it was good. And so you jumped after you finished your exams, you passed your exams, you jumped into the real estate world. You wound up working at a different brokerage, not this brokerage, but a different one. And there were some drawbacks to working there, I think, like you said. Unpack that a little bit more.
So mainly going into a new career, you need people around you to support you, like I said earlier. So with that brokerage, I didn't really feel that because it was just one person who really tried to help me, and I know that for sure. He was there for me every time I needed him, but it was just me and him in that room, and he was a very busy man. So I didn't really have a chance to learn from him as much as I had hoped to. And so basically, that company, it was virtual, and that person was paying for that office and had a private office. So when I used to go to that office, all the professionals around us were not real estate agents. And that's the benefit of being in a brick and mortar brokerage is, let's say I'm here and there's nobody on my team around, but there's also other people from other teams and other real estate agents around me that can help.
Yeah.
So that I found that really important. If you're trying to work and there's no one there to help you, if you have a question, you don't want to be calling your broker of record who you don't even know who they are. And that's what I had to experience there.
Oh, that's yeah. Well, and so when you made the switch over, I remember the first day that we met. I remember you guys, you and Mo walking in, dressed exceptionally well, like really looking the part of a young professional. And you guys walked in, and you got had a chance to look around. What was the impression that you got when you first walked into the brokerage versus where you were before?
It was great. I loved the reception. I loved the manager, Sherry. She was very sweet. We had already interviewed other brokerages at that time, but Remax was really the one that we really wanted. And walking in, it was like, yeah, this is the place where we want to work. We want to work with these people. We want to work in this building. And you walked in, and it was kind of a coincidence because she gave us a list of all the teams that we could join, and we were going to go home and do some searching on those teams and pick one,
Yeah,
because we already made our mind to join Remax Hallmark.
yeah.
But since you saw us there at the door, I even told Mo. He came to my house that night and he said, "You know what? Let's choose a team." And I said, I already chose one. I don't need to be calling and searching because I already met you and I really liked the way you talked. I liked, I looked you up. I liked how successful you are, and I made up my mind very quickly.
Oh wow. Well, that's really nice. That's thanks. It's a nice thing to say. I guess there's something to be said about first impressions, eh?
Exactly. Yeah. That's why we dressed that way with the day we came in because
Yeah.
we want to have a first impression. We want people to want to work with us because it's not just a one-way situation. We may want to work here, but if we're not good for the company, then the company may not want to take us.
Yeah, no, it was very fortuitous. It worked out well. So I think it's been something that's been fun for me to have you around, because you've got that energy, you've got that, drive, the determination, the hunger, and it pours back into everybody around you. So okay, well, you know what? Let's take a quick little break here, and we'll jump back into it. Maybe we'll talk about top five. I don't know what we'll do. We'll figure out something really fun to do in the second half. If you guys are liking what you're seeing, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, download the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Schedule an appointment with Ali or myself in the Calendly links below. And share this with someone who you think might be interested in a little bit more information. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
This episode of the Real Collective podcast is brought to you by Real Collective. Real Collective brings together best-in-class real estate agents and collective experts in the field to deliver the best possible service to our clients. We govern ourselves with honesty, open-mindedness, and compassion. With diverse skill sets, our agents are able to better serve a wide array of clients, including first-time buyers, first-time sellers, transferees, estate sales, investors, and rural, vacation, and luxury properties. Authenticity and transparency are pillars of our process, which allows us to put our clients at the center of everything we do. Our years of experience and knowledge allow us to deliver prestigious service and optimal results. If you are interested in buying or selling your home, contact us today at realcollective.ca.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second half of the Real Collective podcast. As always, I'm Sean Tasse, joined today with Ali Ayyash. And hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with somebody who you think might be interested in this type of information. As always, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thank you. It's nice for us to be talking so you can hear our voices. And if you are watching on YouTube, thanks so much. You can click below for that Calendly link to book an appointment directly into our calendars. Now, Ali, when you started with the Real Collective, I definitely sort of put you through the ringers, put you through the paces. You were like, yeah, okay, let's go. I want to go in real estate. And I said, no, slow down. We've got to do this in the right method. So we started by putting your presentation together so that you can get the information properly over to the prospect. We started with practicing scripts, role playing a couple times here and there, right? So what was that experience like for you to go through and say, like, man, I just want to, like, let me go, I want to go and run, and you're like, no, you got to crawl first. How did you deal with that?
Right. So part of me really liked that. And like, I really like the structured kind of, business startup that you're doing for new agents, because it really helped, for the future and my clients that actually helped. It helped me a lot, having a structure and having a proper presentation for buyers and sellers. Initially, I thought, presentations are only for sellers because you're trying to ask the sellers to hire you and why you should sell their house. But with buyers, you kind of just go around and show houses, and then if they buy, right? But with you really had a proper presentation for buyers too, and I really liked it. It helped me. But the other part of me too, I just wanted to go out there and sell houses. I don't want to, because on the agenda that you had, the training was 2 months. I didn't want to be stuck in the office for 2 months going over role play and presentations and those things. I just wanted to go out there and get some sales. But now looking back, I think it was really important to go through that training and make sure that I know everything before, because really, if I don't know what I'm doing and I'm helping those clients, am I really giving them the best service? No. So it's a really good idea to make sure you go through the proper training before going out there and helping your clients.
It's funny that you say we don't really have a presentation for buyers. We just have one for sellers. I went to a listing presentation this afternoon, and full disclosure, it's a past client, but I normally deliver my listing presentation, past buyer client. I helped him buy. He's never hired me to help him sell anything. But I forgot my laptop at the cottage, and so I didn't have my laptop there. So what I did is I sent the presentation, the Canva presentation, to him, and I said, hey, can you just put this up on your screen, like open the email and I'll click through it and I'll show it to you. Anyways, by the time I got there, we had the high level conversation. he didn't look at my listing presentation at all. Right. We had the conversation. I looked around the property. We talked about motivation. And I said, do you want me to take care of the sale for you? He said, yeah, of course I want you to take care of the sale for me. That's why you're here. And so I just signed the listing document. So I didn't go through a formal listing presentation, and everything was fine because the trust was already there. I mean, I've known the guy for, 8 years. So, yeah, it's funny that you say that, because I think it's one of the only times where I've gone to do a listing, a consultation or presentation, and I didn't have my documents there, right? My touch points. But yeah, it was not necessary. So
Yeah, a lot of times I hear, within the training video that I watched the other day, they say, okay, when you're going on a listing presentation or a buying presentation, there's no reason to go through all that presentation if they're already committed and wanting to work with you. They just want to get to the point and start looking for houses, or start talking about the high level conversation about, how much can I list my house for, and what are you going to do to help me, right? So there's no reason to go through the presentation if they're already committed. So something that's really good to ask is, as soon as you sit down, hey, I'm here, do you want me to list your house?
yeah,
If it's a yes, if it's a no, then you go through the presentation and you try to tell them why they should hire you, and then it's up to them.
well, it was remember when we spoke on the phone with another formidable agent in our office, Dave Lyon, and he explained the quote unquote 1 minute listing presentation, right? You show up, you shake their hand and say, hey, I'm here at your house. Would you do you need to sell your house? Not want to sell your house. Do you need to sell your house? Client says yes. Good. Are you willing to price it at a price that's going to cause it to sell? Yes. Do you want me to take care of the sale for you? Yes. Great. Sign the paper. Listing presentation over. I was like, wow, it's legit, right? That's what some people just want. They get to the point, like, let's get going here, right? So obviously some people need a little bit more, the process. Here's what it's going to be. Here's what it is to look forward to. And I think we do a better job when we sit down and explain to people the process that we're going to follow, and then we deliver on that process. I think that's
But I think also a part of our job is adapting to clients. Some
yes.
people are straightforward, some people want to be explained everything, and you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to, the people who just want to get straight to the point, sign the papers right away and get it listed as soon as possible, you can do that. But if people also want to be explained everything and gone through the process, you have to be able to do that, and it's a part of your job.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're right. There's different personality types, and there's the golden rule, which is you treat everybody like you want to be treated. And then there's the platinum rule, which is treat them how they want to be treated, right? And I think understanding what it is that the people that we're working for want, and then delivering on that is important. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So as you got started with the Real Collective, we did some of the script practice, some of the role play, door knocking role play, open house role play, all that sort of thing. Can you think back and remember any times where you had like an aha moment where something sort of clicked in you, like, oh, I didn't think of doing that. I don't know what it is, but I feel like you've told me a couple times that you're like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Is there anything that jumps out at you?
Well, it's just, the scripts that really make a difference, because sometimes you're trying to get a point across and you don't have the proper wording to do that. But with a pre-made script that is, proven to work and proven to get the message across, if you use that script, you're really going to be able to succeed. Because your thoughts are not all over the place. You have a proper structure for how you want to phrase your words and your sentences, and you get the point across very easily. So I learned a lot of those from you, from the scripts and from the role plays, going through those. And when you do them on the role play, they're not the same as when you're actually out there and doing them with real people. Because I've done them, I've done open houses where I'm just there and explaining things and door knocking too, and on the calls. But I've also done it with a script, and I found that the script is much better, not just at getting clients to work with me, but also at making sure the clients understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I think it's important to draw the distinction between the idea of, some people say, oh, well, scripts are, some real estate agents, I don't like scripts. Scripts are bad. They're manipulative or whatever. And I think it's important to draw the distinction and say, look, this isn't about manipulating people. Like you said, this is about getting a point across that's very clear. And I think that's what they do. And it's not scripting for the sake of uh, forcing people to do something that they don't want to do. It's scripting for, to help them realize that what they want to do is in alignment with what we're offering. And sometimes it's not, and that's okay. Right. Like, that's literally one of the scripts. There's, one of three things is going to happen. Number two is, hey, you might not hire me as your real estate agent. And that's okay. Right. And yeah, I've always found them very helpful. And I think the more you, of course, internalize those scripts, the more you don't, the fear always is that you sound like a robot when you're saying them. But if you internalize them, then you don't sound like a robot. You bring them into yourself, and you're giving them back in that right way. And
And
then,
it's the same with any profession. If you go to the doctor isn't gonna go and check all your body. They're gonna ask you specific questions to determine what exactly is wrong with you. And it's gonna help them determine how to help you, but it's also gonna help you get better.
yes.
So, you know, being random and being all over the place isn't always a good thing, and having a script isn't always a bad thing.
Yeah, it's funny, because a script is like what they call a prescription. So there you go. The other piece. So finally, I let you out of the office and out into the real world after, I think it was about a month, three weeks or a month in the office, and then we got to go out and do some practical stuff. You guys did a couple shadow showings where we went and looked at houses with clients, walked through. And one of the things that we focus on, of course, is when we're looking through a house, we're going through and we're telling the clients all of the things that we don't like about the house. And I remember the first time where you came with me, you're like, oh man, I wouldn't have expected to look at a house in this way after we went and we did that together. What were some of the aha moments that you had in that experience?
Yeah, well, first of all, I thought real estate agents were trying to sell you a house, not tell you the things that they don't like about the house. So that was surprising to me, because I always thought, okay, you're trying to show them the good things about the house, and they're going to decide whether they like it or not. But it's actually the exact opposite with us. We show them exactly what we don't like about the house and let them focus on the things that they like, because we're the professionals. We've been through a lot of houses and we know what usually tends to go wrong with houses. So we focus on those things, and we make sure to point them out to the clients, because you don't have to point out that the windows are big or this color is nice. People already know that, and it might be personal things too. They might not like that color. So focusing on the structural parts of the house, and the things that could potentially go wrong. Looking at the roof, making sure it's good. Looking at the windows, making sure they're up to date. It's very important when being on showings with clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Well, before we finish up, is there anything else that you want to sort of get across to the rest of the world, whether it's clients or potential clients or people who are considering a career in real estate?
I think give it a shot. If you're considering a career in real estate, you should really go for it. But you have to be prepared to, not make money for the first little while. You have to be prepared to put in the work, and to be honest and give it your best.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks, Ali, so much for joining and hanging out with me today and doing this. It was a lot of fun. I learned something new about you that I didn't know. I didn't know you were a FedEx driver for after school before you started in real estate. So that's new information for me. That's great. People, as always, can find you on all the different social media channels. Ali at realcollective.ca. That's your email, your work email. What else? How else is everybody going to find you? At the gym?
At the gym, I go to the gym a lot. Mubadi on Merva.
There you
You can
go.
find me there. Yeah, Instagram, Ali the Realtor. And yeah.
Awesome. All right. So as always, guys, thanks for joining us today. If you would like to schedule an appointment with Ali or myself, you can do so in the Calendly links below. If you are interested in getting some more information about real estate, feel free to reach out. You can send us a DM. Hit a like, subscribe, and share on all the different channels if you're listening on Apple or Spotify. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. And until next time, keep it real.
Collective.